When you do something like that, do you
I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it? Especially because, I mean...
Billionaire Elon Musk gave one of the most bonkers and cringe-inducing interviews I have seen ever given by somebody in a position of power who isn't a politician. So I'm going to get to 3 clips here and break them down. This is some ridiculous, wild stuff. And it goes to show how Elon Musk clearly surrounds himself with yes men. Because when there is just the slightest pushback here, the slightest questioning on things that Elon Musk does, Musk falls apart. So this is a pro-business network. This is CNBC. David Faber is the interviewer here at CNBC. And he's very kind in his approach to these questions. And they're not even tough questions. But Musk, as you're going to see, has no idea how to react to them. So here's the first one where David Faber presses Musk on his dumb tweets.
Elon, you tweeted this thing about George Soros. Well, I'm looking for it because I want to make sure I quote it properly. But, I mean, you know what you wrote. But you basically...
I said it reminds me of Magneto. This is like, calm down, people. This is not like made a federal case out of it.
You also... you said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like, when you do something like that, do you
I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it? Especially because, I mean, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you, advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you? Why not just say, hey, I think this. You can tell me. We can talk about it over there. You can tell your friends. But why share it widely?
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want.
You absolutely are. But I'm trying to understand why you do, because you have to know it's got it puts you in the middle of the partisan divide in the country. It makes you a lightning rod for criticism. I mean, do you like that? People today saying he's an anti-Semite. I don't think you are.
No, I'm definitely. I'm like a pro-Semite, if anything.
I believe that probably is the case.
Yes.
But why would you even introduce the idea then that would be the case?
I mean, look, we don't want to make this a George Soros interview.
No, God no. I don't want to at all. But
I'm like a pro-Semite. Okay, I'm gonna get to the next clip, which he kind of answers the question, but you're going to see how embarrassing that is. But I have to address this George Soros stuff because all of this is so wild, and the reason for why he began this attack, not all that surprising. But just to show you the initial tweet here that was referenced in that clip, Musk tweeted out, "Soros reminds me of Magneto, the X-Men supervillain." Going on to say, "You assume they are good intentions. They are not. He wants to erode the very fabric of civilization. Soros hates humanity." So this feeds into the ongoing attacks on George Soros. He somehow, these right-wing conspiracies, he controls society. He hates civilization. I want to show you something. So this is the Forbes list of the richest people on Earth. Elon Musk sits at number 2 between Bernard Arnault and Jeff Bezos. Where do you think George Soros is? If he's this all-powerful being that hates civilization, he is eroding the very fabric of civilization. The very powerful George Soros. Where do you think he is on this list? Take a guess. Let me show you. Number 374. He has a fraction of the wealth that Elon Musk and many other billionaires do. Yet he's the focus of these conspiracies, these attacks. It's so disingenuous. It's so disgusting. And before I get to why it appears Elon Musk decided to launch this attack, just to give you some context here. Quote, Soros is often held up by the far right using anti-Semitic tropes as the source of the world's problems. CEO of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, tweeted, to see Elon Musk, regardless of his intent, feed this segment, comparing him to a Jewish supervillain, claiming Soros hates humanity, is not just distressing, it's dangerous. It will embolden extremists who already contrive anti-Jewish conspiracies and have tried to attack Soros and Jewish communities as a result. So that's the context that you need to be aware of. But to add on to why it appears Elon Musk jumped into this is amazing. Elon Musk has gone all in on the classic conservative anti-Semitic trope of blaming George Soros for everything, seemingly all because the older billionaire sold his Tesla stock Soros's family office, Soros Fund Management, bought up stock in the electric car maker over the course of 2022, holding a total of 132,000 shares by the end of the year. Then the fund capitalized on Tesla's impressive 68% jump in value this year, selling off its entire Tesla stake in the first quarter of 2023. Soros Fund Management also sold some of its stake in electric vehicle startup Rivian, but apparently Musk still took the sales personally. Quote, Soros reminds me of Magneto. It's so ridiculous. So, because George Soros sold his stock, Elon Musk feeds into these right-wing anti-Semitic conspiracies around George Soros. And to be fair, I'm not even sure this is the first time he has brought up Soros, so this may not be, the genesis of this. But it's an interesting connection, to say the least. Now, let me get to the next clip where this gets so embarrassing. So there's going to be, at one point in this clip, you may think that your video froze. It did not. The pause is just that long.
What I'm trying, even came up though in the annual meeting. I mean, do your tweets hurt the company? Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position because, and I know it because he shares so much of it? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you got to stop, man. Or, I can't get these ads because of some of the things you tweet.
I'm reminded of there's a scene in The Princess Bride. Great movie.
Great movie.
Where he confronts the person who killed his father. And he says, offer me money. Offer me power. I don't care.
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
Okay.
That was a 12-second pause. A 12-second pause to misquote The Princess Bride. Now, I'm going to get to his overall point here, but what was that about? Was he trying to remember the quote? Was he, trying to think of an answer? Was he trying to pause for dramatic effect? Maybe he thought, if I pause long here and really think hard about this, and then quote The Princess Bride incorrectly, that will show how noble I am in my fight for truth. So before I even get to that aspect of it, I saw this reply to this clip, and this clip is getting skewered online. But Mark Allen here shared my thoughts. Holy hell, that might be the single longest buildup to absolutely nothing I've ever seen. Absolutely. Now, this idea that he's about, he cares about speaking truth to power or giving his opinions. That, could be seen as noble, that you want to speak this truth regardless of how it impacts you financially. That could be viewed as noble if that's what he has been doing. But that's not what he does. He just jumps on to random right-wing conspiracies again and again and again and again and again. In fact, at least over 40 times, according to a report, he's done this since buying Twitter. This is what he does. This is not any, noble fight in the fight for truth or anything of that sort. No, this is just him spouting random garbage online. So this before we get to that, I got to get to the petty stuff quickly here. Elon Musk misquoted The Princess Bride. So it wasn't what he said, I don't care, being the final quote. It's, I want my father back, you SOB. Look, I don't care either way. It's worth noting he didn't quote the movie properly. But on his larger point here, so this article in its entirety is fantastic. I'll link to it below the video under sources because it gives you a lot of references, a lot of examples of Elon Musk just saying complete garbage. But as they write here, Elon Musk promised to make Twitter the most accurate source of information about the world, but he has repeatedly used his own account to amplify false claims from some of the most notorious disinformers on the internet, according to an AFP analysis of his online activity. The post show Musk drawing attention to misinformation about everything from the war in Ukraine to the attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband. Last week, the billionaire boosted a tweet that wrongly suggested doctors misdiagnosed flu cases as COVID-19 deaths. Quote, one of the greatest mysteries of COVID-19, where did the flu go in 2020 and 2021? From a Twitter account. To which Musk replied, good question. It was one of at least 40 times the billionaire replied to the profile, which has promoted the QAnon conspiracy theory since purchasing Twitter for $44 billion nearly 6 months ago. He has only replied to a handful of accounts more in that time. So they go on with so many examples here. He shared a fabricated CNN segment, called a made-up, quote, wise words, and falsely claimed police escorted a rider through the U.S. Capitol on Jan 6. Like, it's on and on and on and on and on and on. That's why, if you want more, I'm not going to read the whole article here, but if you want more examples, a lot are in here. But to just focus on one that was mentioned in the paragraph that I quoted, Musk cited a widely discredited website that implied the brutal attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, wasn't carried out by an unhinged far-right blogger, but rather was linked to an anti-LGBTQ theory about a skirmish at a local bar. So you'll notice that a lot of his BS that he discusses online it's purely right-wing garbage. They're all defenses of people who are clearly on the right. And not just, random people saying this online, but what police reports are saying about these unhinged individuals and what the individuals themselves had said and what motivated them to do these things. So in this case, he actually had to delete, or didn't have to, but he deleted the tweet once he realized how wrong he was, how embarrassing he is. But he linked to an article from the Santa Monica Observer, a website known for years for publishing false stories. So again, when we're talking about somebody who has power and a platform, Elon Musk has to be the most followed, dumbest person on the internet with the amount of fake garbage that he spreads. This isn't some noble fight for truth. This is just an idiot posting trash. And so this is the next clip that's coming up. So Elon Musk also tweeted about the Texas Mall gunman spreading misleading claims. So you're going to see here David Faber questions Elon Musk about his misleading claims about this gunman. And this also just devolves into madness.
You say something like it might be a bad psyop. I'm not quite sure what you meant, but...
In that particular case, there was somehow that's not that that obviously people were killed, but it was, I think, incorrectly ascribed to be a white supremacist action, and the evidence for that was some obscure Russian website that no one's ever heard of, that had no followers, and the company that found this is Bellingcat. Right. And do you know what Bellingcat does? PSYOPs.
Right. I couldn't really even follow exactly what it was you were trying to express there, so that's in part why I was curious.
I'm saying that I thought the ascribing it to white supremacy was bullshit.
Okay.
And that the information for that came from an obscure Russian website and was somehow magically found by Bellingcat, which is a company that does PSYOPs. And
there's no proof, by the way, that he was not.
I would say that there's no proof that he is.
Yes, there is. Elon Musk is completely out of his mind. I mean, look at his face during this interaction. He's lost it. He's completely lost it. So this has nothing to do with any reporting, Bellingcat. This has to do with the body that is in the morgue. The police have seen the gunman's body. They have it. He's no longer alive. They know what is on his body. They know the tattoos he has. So this is from Hank Sibley, the regional director of the Texas Department of Public Safety. Here is what he said.
We do know that he had neo-Nazi ideation. He had patches, he had tattoos, even his signature, verified that. That's one thing we do know. We are trying to get into his computer and on social media and find out, whether he had anything that he'd publicized or been out.
So they know who the man is. This has nothing to do with reporting online from Bellingcat or whoever else. This has to do with the actual man's body and what he was wearing. This is just, apart from all of this, why does Elon Musk feel the need to defend white supremacy? Why is that a motivating factor for you? To ensure that you defend white supremacy by saying this man who did this terrible thing was not a white supremacist. No, white supremacists wouldn't do anything like this. What motivates that? White supremacy. That kind of defense mechanism to defend white supremacy is motivated by either your support or your, your desire to want to appeal to those people who are white supremacists. Because there is no other reason to come out there and defend white supremacy. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre behavior. So I don't know what else to say here. This was just a wild, bonkers interview. And it shows what happens with just the slightest bit of pushback. Can you imagine if a reporter that was actually, confrontational was in this interview and how Elon Musk would be falling apart in an interview like that? I would love to see it. But there is no way, of course, Musk would ever agree to any interview with a journalist who isn't on a pro-business network.